Hello, I am Ananya.
And I am Mithun.
Today we will talk about the recent arrest of a young climate activist Disha Ravi and how numerous conspiracy theories are being circulated about her and others to divert public attention from the pressing issues such as the Arnab Goswami's involvement in the TRP scam, lakhs of farmers protesting at Delhi for the repeal of farm laws, China entering and making a village in the Arunachal Pradesh, and rising petrol prices as well as the free fall of the Indian economy.
So what exactly happened was, on 13th February, Delhi police picked a 21-year-old woman, Disha Ravi, from her home in Bangalore and took her to Delhi, and subsequently the news was leaked to media channels that Delhi police has arrested Disha for sedition, criminal conspiracy, spreading disaffection against the Indian state and promoting enmity. In its statement to media, Delhi police kept mentioning that they have found a toolkit that she wrote which connects her to an allegedly pro-Khalistani outfit, Poetic Justice, which Delhi police claims is funding the farmers' protest with the aim to tarnish India's stellar image. This toolkit is being presented by Delhi police and news channels as if it contains some explosive evidence that incriminates Disha Ravi and others.
So now the big question is, what exactly is a toolkit? A toolkit is a document or a booklet created to explain a cause or issue. It identifies approaches to address the issue. Toolkits are one of the ways to put all the information about an issue in a single place and then provide instructions on how to amplify it for people who want to do so. Every multinational company, marketing company and entertainment industry, political campaign and political party uses this, and even BJP IT cell uses this to provide misinformation or propaganda.
So what did this toolkit that Delhi police and the news channels are harping about actually contain? The toolkit says that it is, in quote, meant to enable anyone unfamiliar with the ongoing farmers' protest in India to better understand the situation and make decisions on how to support the farmers based on their own analysis. The toolkit talks about the farm laws, the problems and why it needs to be fought against. The toolkit contained suggested actions and a list of things that people could do irrespective of where they are to support farmers. It contained actions such as tweeting, emailing in support and organizing on-ground peaceful action in support of the farmers in the closest Indian embassy, media house or government body.
So, is preparing a document meant to educate people regarding farmers' issue criminal or even seditious? The manner in which Disha was arrested also begs the question about the motive of Delhi police. She was picked from her home in Soladevanhalli, Bangalore and was taken to Delhi at 6 pm on Saturday. There have been interstate violations also. Delhi High Court, in the case of Sandeep Kumar and the state of Delhi in 2020, reiterated that the due process must be followed while executing interstate arrests and took a serious view of arrests that are made by other state police officials without informing the local state police officials. The magistrate at Delhi Patiala House Court failed to ensure that Disha Ravi had the legal counsel, and the manner of Disha Ravi's arrest also prevented her from applying for a bail or a legal remand. The entire incident was a clear violation of Article 19, 21 and 22 of Indian Constitution.
Why is the Indian government arresting young voices and trying to silence the youth and general public who sympathize with the cause of farmers or care for the environment? Suppressing voices of dissent against the environment and land rights is not a new thing for the Indian ruling class. Indian Adivasis have been losing their land, livelihoods and lives for large government projects such as coal mining and other infrastructure projects in the name of development. Many of these projects failed to pass the environmental impact assessment too. In 2019, Supreme Court of India has ordered the eviction of more than 10 lakh families of Adivasis. In December, over 40,000 trees were cleared out to pave way for Adani's coal mining project as villagers lead a lonely battle for the recognition of their forest rights. Evicting indigenous people from forest lands for gaining access to natural resources is not limited to India. Thousands of indigenous people have also protested against the construction of the Keystone XL pipeline, which endangers their environmental livelihood in the US.
This arrest of Disha Ravi is only a latest arrest of a series of youth who have been intimidated and criminalized by this government. From Rohit Vemula to Kanhaiya Kumar to Safura Zargar to Divangana Kalita to now Disha Ravi, an environment is being created in which the young are being trained into silence and submission through the dog whistles of being called anti-national or of being involved in an international conspiracy or anti-Hindu labels. What Disha has done is what we are taught in schools. We are taught what a great concern climate change is. How every year the water table is decreasing, the temperature is increasing, The forest fires are a constant threat to us, and the sudden snowstorms. We are told repeatedly to care and work towards living a little more sustainably and raise our voice against global warming.
Greta Thunberg's school strikes and Friday for Future initiatives inspired and brought many youths across the world to think about not only our present but also about kind of world we are going to leave for future generations. Many even suggested her name for Nobel Prize, and here in India we are jailing people like Disha. The character assassination, communalization of Disha's identity is the only way the current ruling party knows to deal with things. By jailing them, intimidating them, India is only harming itself. She doesn't deserve this, nor does anybody else. Thank you so much for watching Gauri Lankesh News.
Please subscribe to us for watching more news analysis and updates.